I don't know who need to hear this, but if you ain't got no money, don't go on that trip.
All I know, he ain't talking to me. He ain't talking to me.
Hello everyone, it's Emmanuel Cooke. Today we will be reacting to a new video, and I hope that you guys enjoy the video.
150K in debt, and I still solo travel, and I make that my priority. Hold on, it's not credit card debt, it is student debt. Make that very clear, because while I talk so much about seizing the moment, living in the moment, making sure to travel if you can, even when you're young and broke, I never want to condone deliberately going into thousands of dollars of debt just to travel and do it for the plot and live life, because that's really irresponsible and not at all conducive to a good life. This is about balance, but you can still travel if you are young and have no money. I started traveling when I was unemployed and had to start paying my loans like a month later. I live rent-free to offset this, but that is my biggest bill. Pay other bills as well, but for fun things, other frivolous spending, I prioritize travel. I don't spend like any money when I'm at home. Basics, food, necessities, but I rarely shop. I rarely go out because I don't really have any friends in this area and I'm not home that often. It was literally just like my home base. I only travel based on where the cheap flight tickets are. I rarely have a set itinerary or a place I want to go. I just go where the deals take me. I've done work exchanges to stay there for free. I've traveled with my job so I can just still make money on the road. It's what I do now. I stay in dirt cheap hostels. I travel off season. I struggle meal through the days. It is possible, but it does take a little discipline, a little planning, and a little saving, especially up front, like when you're considering to start traveling and you don't have that much money. I know so many people, and I've met so many people that have just like worked 3 jobs at home, done their bills, done everything like that, and put so much away in savings they had enough to backpack for like 3 months. They do that, rinse and repeat, come back, do it all over again. And there are so many things that go into budget travel that I can't possibly fit into one video, but I talk about it all the time, so make sure to follow for more.
When people come to me for investing advice, budgeting advice, and tips on how they can save more and save better, aside from housing, because we already know how terrible the housing market is, the 2 biggest expenses that I see in people's budgets that I help them create are food, specifically eating out, and traveling. Especially now during the summer, travel has been eating the girls up. Love you if you came to me, no tea, no shade. Many of your favorite influencers, many of your favorite travel and lifestyle pages are in severe credit card debt. This is just another reminder that social media is fake. When they get on here with their cute luggage and their cute outfits, and they're making a cute little reel telling you that you should catch flights and not feelings like them, what they're not telling you is that they're putting the flights and the bookings on credit cards. For the scammers out there, some of these people are putting these charges on credit cards that don't belong to them. So I say all of that to say, you are not behind. A lot of people come to me feeling like they are behind financially because they can't afford to take trips. They can't afford to live on their own yet. A lot of the people that you see who are doing these things also can't afford it. Credit cards are not your money. You are borrowing money. That's your account, not your money. Don't get on here looking at people's vacations and shopping hauls, thinking that everything is fine and dandy and they just got the money in their account. There are people that do. There are people that really got it like that. But these people have done either one of 2 things. They have either been lucky enough to be born into very wealthy families, or they have done something very strategic to set themselves up financially to where they can afford to do things like this. Meaning they invested in something and it took off, or they have businesses. I want you to take the glasses off. Take the social media glasses off for a second. When you are allocating your money for the month, you need to decide, do you want to post up or do you actually want to put the money in your account? This is what I tell people. You can't flex while you're getting out of debt. You can't do that. You're gonna have to sit down for a bit, but that's okay, because later on, you'll be able to have your fun without having to worry about how you're gonna pay for things when you get back. Just a messenger.
A new study shows that 1/3 of Americans going on vacation this summer are going into debt to afford it. See, I don't get it, because I couldn't go on a vacation and enjoy it knowing I couldn't afford it. Knowing when it's over, I'm going back to reality, which is going to be debt, because I went on a trip I couldn't afford. That's not fun for me. I would be stressed. I wouldn't enjoy it. How are you guys enjoying a trip you can't afford? And this is totally the problem today with instant gratification and no one actually putting in the effort to affording what they want in their life. It's all about living for today. It's all about YOLO and FOMO. Let's use my Europe trip from last summer. So for a 6-day trip, it cost me $2,000, flight, stays, food, all of that. I know how to do things cheap. So to afford that $2,000 trip, I would need to save $166 a month. No, don't drive down here. Wait, but I like the song. Bitch, if you want to go to Europe this summer, sell your TV and cut the cable. You know what I mean? Like, make a fucking sacrifice for once in your life to afford what you want. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to finances is learn how to say no now so you can live a life of yes later. And I have lived by that shit. Most Americans don't live like that. Everyone wants their cake and eat it too. They want to continue to go shopping. They want to continue to go out to eat all the time. They want to do concerts. They want to do this. They want to do that. And then when it comes to summertime, oh, I'm going to just do a trip too and I'm just going to go into debt for it. You guys make me so sad. Like, some of you don't realize, like, you're ruining your own life. Like, if you would just change your habits, if you just change your mindset, if you would just say no to yourself for once in your damn life, you would have the potential to get into a better financial situation so you could live the life you want. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Keep doing what you're doing and let me know how that's working for you.
I'm going on a 3-week vacation while being in debt, and I get a lot of criticism for that. So let me explain why I don't just save my money. So this trip is not just a vacation. It's a road trip with my dad, who's getting old, and he probably won't be healthy enough forever to take a trip like this, and probably isn't healthy enough as it is to go on hikes throughout the national parks that we're visiting. So it's something that he's wanted to do his whole life, but hasn't been able to because he's always had to work 24/7 to support his family, but finally has enough time and money to go on this trip. And so it's something that's more important than money, because you can always make money, but you can never go back in time and create moments like this. So yes, I am going to go on this trip. And luckily my employer graciously told me that my job will be waiting for me when I get back. So that's a big lift off my shoulders. And after the trip, we will start that emergency fund that you guys really want me to start. We'll start the high yield savings account. And then after that, I'll continue to show you guys how I invest my money and how I save it and where I, place my money, what accounts and all that. So anyways, that's it.
Spent about 24 hours in LA visiting a friend who was there. So I'm going to talk about what it feels like to be in like severe debt and travel and do things that are fun and try to like budget for that. I budgeted about $200 for this trip and I ended up spending $150. We got drinks, got lunch, got drinks, got dinner, etc. And the entire time I felt a little bit anxious about spending. I feel like since I really have not been spending money on anything outside of my expenses and my credit card debt, it's just like a challenge to spend money now, which I am trying to take that anxiety and just self-reflect on how I would have spent money in this LA trip maybe like a year and a half ago. I probably would have spent like upwards of $500 on this trip. I would have gone to some of my favorite shops and bought random things. I would have got wine to take back. I would have probably covered my friends' drinks because I very much had this mentality of like, I'll put my card down and like, don't worry about Venmoing me. Like, don't worry about it. Now I'm like, worry about it. I love you. So I don't know. We're growing. I'm trying to channel the anxiety into moments of growth. But yeah, I had a great time. It was fun. Now I'm back at my parents'. Suburban queen.
If I could tell anyone going to Europe one thing, and one thing not to do, it would be don't spend money you do not have on your credit card to buy things you think you need to validate yourself in that moment. I know, that was a mouthful, right? But from experience, as someone who has finally closed their credit card and are done with that chapter of their lives, while it feels amazing in the moment and while you feel good because you're wearing all of the nice coordinating outfits and you don't feel self-conscious because you're wearing all the nice coordinating outfits and you feel like you blend in, trust me, when you come home and you're stressed because of your upcoming credit card bills and the high of that holiday and the packing wears off, you will regret it. And I'm all for, trust me, as someone who is impulsive as fuck, I am all for enjoying yourself and being present and in the moment, if you will. But what I'm not for is putting unnecessary financial stress and burden on yourself to try and keep up appearances. because it's shallow at the end of the day. And while it's fun to be frivolous and to enjoy fashion and to feel good about yourself and enjoy putting together outfits, you have to ask yourself, at what cost is that coming? And could I perhaps better invest my time and energy planning experiences on my trip rather than trying to curate the perfect outfit? Because I'm telling you, it really does not matter. It doesn't matter. I went on my first Euro summer trip when I was 21, and do you think that I look back and reflect on all of the nice outfits that I wore? No. I think about the amazing time that I spent with my two best friends and the moment we watched the sunset in Greece together having a really lovely meal, or the walks that we went on, things like that, you know what I mean? And I just think if more effort and emphasis was placed on trip planning when it came to experiences as opposed to what we're packing, you would come out of it with all of these amazing memories and less financial stress. I know you don't want to hear it probably, and I barely want to hear it myself sometimes because I'm also an impulsive in the moment person. However, if you can, just for a second, just take a breath and think about that purchase, and if you could better invest your energy in doing something else that doesn't evolve around a wardrobe for you.
We normalize asking how much credit card debt all of the travel, aesthetic, NYC influencer girlies are.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, let's be really real. A lot of influencers have incredibly rich parents, because when you're influencing in the beauty and fashion space, you need to project a certain lifestyle in order for people to want to follow you. That being said, living in New York, everyone is paying out the ass for their housing. Everyone is wearing Reformation. Everyone is wearing Ghani. I know how much people make because I'm a nosy little bitch. I would sit and wonder, like, why is it that I'm doing my budget every month, being like, yes, I can buy this, no, I can't buy that, and I make more than you, and you're just spending like crazy. And then I realized, y'all are in debt. No shame around debt. You can always turn that around. But you're flexing like a girlie you see on TikTok whose mom is a partner at a law firm. Be so fucking for real about who you are and what you can afford.
You're not traveling because you have a lot of debt. Let's talk about it. I got debt too. What I got to do with it? What I got to do with it? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be toxic, but not traveling because you have debt. What is not traveling changing about your debt? Because if it's the money thing, and I did another video on this where I talked about, like the money piece of it. Even if travel may not be something you feel like you can do right this second, I'm sure there's a way that you can plan to do something in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, even planning something small. Like people, like travel doesn't always have to mean, you going to, Paris or whatever. Like travel, you can start small, but there's always something that you can do, and you can plan it around your debt. You don't have to stop, you don't have to stop working towards paying down your debt. But if travel is a priority for you, then you will make it work. That is the story I'm sticking to, because all the things y'all telling me, I already done told myself, and now I done shifted my mindset, and so can you.
Who the fuck is getting the money to go to Spain and Europe and all these fine ass places and go to all these expensive like where are people getting the money for that?
Our jobs. Yeah, we have jobs. We actually work. And then we're also really good about budgeting and credit cards. Never use debit card, in case you guys are wondering this. Like, debit cards are completely useless. That's like using cash. Don't do that. Put the liability on the credit card companies. Use your credit card, get a credit card, and use it like a debit card and pay it off every week. That balance, there's a lot that goes into credit cards, but pay it off for the most part. Pay it off. And then you build up points, and you can use it towards travel. And also, airline tickets to Europe, for the most part, if you actually do your research, they're really not that expensive, especially if you fly economy. I literally got tickets to go to visit my brother in Switzerland, flying British Airways. They were doing a sale. It was $300 for economy tickets. I upgraded us to different classes because it was so cheap. But yeah, you could have gotten it for $300 there, $300 back, so $600. You can't even get $600 tickets to go to like fucking Omaha, Nebraska. So yeah, number one, get a job, work your job, get up in the morning, work hard, stop taking fucking time off work. Number 2, budget correctly. I see that you get your nails done, your hair done. Maybe take what you would have spent on that and put it towards these nice trips, if you need to pick one over the other. Number 3, credit card points. And number 4, just do your research. It's not that fucking difficult.
Hey, how are you? Quick question for you. So I'm flying out tomorrow morning, and I'm wondering if I can upgrade to business class with you now over the phone. I can? Awesome, fantastic. First class, I wasn't considering it, but you know what? Yeah, just put me on first class. Yeah, that'd be great. Cool, thank you.
How do people making $12 an hour go on so many vacations?
Bestie, I'm almost certain this isn't the type of answer you want, but it's the type of answer you're getting. Realistically, we don't teach financial literacy in high schools, so it's totally possible these folks are just not very financially literate, they don't have strong personal finance skills, and are taking on a bunch of debt to live these lavish lifestyles. Alternatively, they could have super rich parents who are funding the vacation or funding the rest of their life, like rent and food, so that they have this extra income to go on vacation. Third possibility, maybe Photoshop, maybe splitting one room with 8 people. Regardless, it's not as luxurious as it may seem. Fourth possibility, they could have another source of income that you have no idea about. Just because they're making $12 an hour at one job doesn't mean that's all they're making. In our digital age, there's this constant sense of needing to keep up with the Joneses, but that may not be in your best financial interest. Make the right decision for you, start a sinking fund for your next trip, and you can follow me for more on money and finance.
Should I move here?
Yes, some people do take out personal loans to travel. According to 2021 ABS data, 8.7% of millennials actually took out a personal loan to travel. And this is just personal loans, not even credit cards.
Buy now, pay later services are going to have y'all in so much trouble, you're not going to know how to get out. I'm for to sound like the old uncle right now, but I am very concerned about this generation and how they utilize these services. I'm going to go into detail about this topic in my newsletter, but it's so important to me to get this message out that I want to make a video about it right now. These kids are utilizing these services, which that's what they're here for, but you have to use them, responsibly. They're using these services to book so many outlandish flights and trips to places where, we can't even imagine to go, but they're booking these trips with these services and they're going on a trip without it even being paid for and dealing with the repercussions later. This is worse from when we were in high school and when you graduated, maybe in college, they started sending you out these credit cards and everything. And your parents was like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I feel like this is worse. I believe travel is for everyone. I've always had that message. I believe that everyone deserves to travel and experience life outside of their city. But like my mama used to tell me, you don't go nowhere if your bills ain't paid. We need to move from this mindset of thinking what we see on social media is better than the life that we live. Because 9 times out of 10, it ain't really what it's given. Young travel friends, listen, I don't know where your parents at. I don't know what's going on. But if nobody's going to tell you, listen here right now. Don't you try to keep up with the Joneses trying to fly out, get flued out, pretend like you get these people pretending they get flued out. Just stop. Because you're going to find yourself in a place where you can't get out. And nobody wants to be 10 feet under that.
I recently shared that I have $31,000 of student loan debt and that I'm not super worried about it. And a lot of you lost it over this fact. You didn't like that I'm saving for an emergency fund and that I'm saving for travel. You don't like that I'm investing. You think all my money needs to go towards my debt. And I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. My personal finances are just that. My personal finances. They are my decisions to make. It's my money to do with how I please. My average student loan interest rate is 3.9%. My high yield savings account is returning 4.5%. So you do the math. Additionally, I am going to save for travel because I live in Minnesota and my mental health requires me to go on one beach vacation a year to keep my sanity. So mind your business. I also didn't need to go in and explain any of that because first and foremost, those of you who don't have debt, need to stop looking at people who do have debt as less than. You are in a place of privilege that you were able to go through your college education and not require additional funds. My family and I personally did not have $125,000 to fund my college education, hence my $31,000 of student loan debt. So get off your high horse, get immersed in reality a little bit here, and quit being mean. Thank you.
That is it for today. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and like, comment, and subscribe down below, and see you in the next video.